And now a change of pace. Lucius Annaeus Seneca. A letter. Seneca, in Rome, to Gallio, my brother in Corinth, this 11th year of the reign of Claudius, greetings. Are you well? Are you settled? Have you made your formal appearance at the Isthmian Games? Have you, with grace and Aenean charm, concluded the great round of receptions, dinners, theatrical events, all the canny flatteries with which a new proconsul is received into his office? What color is your face? Is the blush of my blooming Gallio yet? Surely Corinth mimics Rome, where we've gone mad with flattery. Here, the man who moderates his praise is not the truer, but the cheaper. Because however gross the compliment, however fine our modest denials, we hunger the honey. Oh, don't we, though? Do you remember Father's good friend, Crispus Passianus? He was exquisite at naming and framing a natural fault. Well, Crispus used to say that we never slam the door on flattery. We nudge it shut, like a man rejecting his mistress. If she nudges back, we're pleased, and if she breaks it down, we rejoice. Gallio, I'm joking with you. No one I know is more indifferent to flattery, indifferent and thereby protected, since that part of oneself most open to praise is open as well to attack. But you'll never be pierced with that daggery tongue. By its first word, you recognize it. Before its second, you've already cut it off. I wish I possessed those two characteristics of yours, the charm that deserves adulation and the sense to reject it flat. Wishes. Oh, brother of mine, I wish manhood had granted such grace and modesty to Nero, now entitled Princeps Juventutis. He's become a man, you know, suddenly a man, by fiat, by public acclamation, by whatever powers can countermand time and the seasons to force this boy into majority 2 years sooner than any other true-born child. A man? He's been in the world a scant 14 years. Yet in the evening of the 17th of March, the lad was dressed in a white tunic with saffron stripes, a sign in this palace of good omen, and put to bed so clothed. In the morning he was roused before sunrise and led to the household altar, where he accomplished several sacred acts. He consecrated the beautiful, delicate gown of his boyhood to the Lares. Nero conducted himself with suitable solemnity, a genuine solemnity, I will admit, though thin, because his love for ritual is really a love for things theatrical and dramatic. Solemnly, then, he took from his neck the golden chain and the golden bulla that had protected his young vulnerabilities. Next, an entire train of imperial attendants escorted him to the Capitol. In the ancient temple of Jupiter, our little Nero made offerings and sacrifices as if he were already pater of some rich and recognized household. Then the priest brought forth the white, and Nero bowed his head. The high priest whirled the white before him, behind him, around him, and wrapping his form in a toga whiter than the flying clouds. When Nero Claudius Drusus Germanicus lifted his head, and when he brought his right hand across his chest to grip the folds of his toga virilis, that robe as radiant as Gloria, the boy had become a man. Gloria left the temple then. Gloria descended to the forum, where the multitudes roared to receive him. All of Rome delivered itself to celebration then. The day of Nero was also the day of Bacchus, the Bacchanalia. Priestesses, their heads entwined with ivy, were frying little cakes at every corner and dipping them in honey and selling them to those who wore masks, who danced and sang in the streets. Measures of wheat were given away for free. Soldiers received bonuses in silver. The Circus Maximus threw open its gates to 100,000 people, and there was Nero, raised up in his gleaming triumphal dress, for the first time taking his place on the imperial seat. Now then, Gallio, there were two voices in the ears of the boy-man that day. Which of the two do you think he will heed? One of those voices was mine. Early in the day, as our procession moved with sober deliberation from the palace to the Capitol, I, walking beside and a half step behind him, had time to deliver the personal sermon I'd fashioned in advance. Our souls are in the image of God, I said, or so they should be. Nero, the natural reason which controls the world, that is the will of God made visible and available to human study. But the dearer, more intimate reason living within us, that is the very mind of God. Avail yourself of that mind. Make it yours. Child, you cannot know a durable happiness except it come from the peace of a pure conscience. By the mind of God, master your passions. By the divinity of reason within you, master your passions. For our sakes, Nero, master your passions. The boy kept doggedly walking a half stride ahead of me. I cornered his left while his mother strode directly behind him on the right. Claudius was borne foremost in a divan on the shoulders of 6 servants. One day, I said to the boy, in the hearing of his mother, this procession will carry you to the throne of all power. Into your hands they will place the life of the empire, the destiny of the world. Upon your back shall fall the terrible weight of greatness, for you will be given the role of God in human affairs. In that day, I said, for the sake of the earth, for the sake of this orbis terrarum, your soul must be in the image of God, that all your deeds be godly. That was my voice, the one that released him to manhood. The other voice received the man he became. Loud, brutal, multitudinous, and mightily persuasive, that second voice roared in the Circus Maximus, thundered in the streets wherever he went. Nero Imperator, it declared, though he was not that yet. Nero Caesar! Wild with glee, swollen with flattery, that voice bawled, Nero Divinus! Already, you see, divinity. Wishes, Migali. I wish Nero, like you, were unaffected by such screaming, self-serving mendacity. For when it's an emperor who opens himself too much to praise, that part of himself most open, then, to attack is ourselves, the people dependent upon his wisdom and his goodwill. Emperor? Nero Imperator? In my judgment, that day cannot be far away. Ridiculous Claudius is old. He always did shake, but now it's a farcical doddering. He's senile, his brain's as cogent as a pillow cushion. But that wretched body of his, Gallio, however bulging and porcine, still shudders through its apparel. He eats and drinks, and whores now more than ever. It must kill him soon. He goes daily to the banquet rooms, attended by 4 women, a blonde Syrian, a huge Nubian with purple lips, a slim Jewess who makes him savor cruel caresses, and a bronze Egyptian. When he eats, the ceiling drops roses and perfumed water. Naked slaves serve and dance while serving. And when the blousy emperor begins to sink nose first into his dishes, here come two more dancers to accomplish before him the union of Psyche and Cupid, to the shrieks and the scrapes of flutes and lutes and lyres. I watch Agrippina who watches these feasts. She comes and does not eat. Neither does she touch her husband anymore, but he's oblivious to her presence. I watch her watch with the blinkless, glittering eye of a serpent. So how is the Achaean weather affecting your health? Your lungs, Migali, can they inhale that Greek humidity and not drown? Write me. Divert me. Describe Corinth. Our nephew, Lucan, greets you. Write